Welcome to my multimedia portfolio. In this assessment, I will be discussing each of the learning outcomes from the course. In this presentation, I'll be using examples and placing them in a real business context, backed up by the relevant theory. The learning outcomes for the presentation will be process mapping, design thinking, fostering a culture of creativity, personas, empathy mapping, storyboarding, and customer journey management. Process mapping is the journey a potential customer could make in buying a service or a product. This map begins to explain what the customer is thinking and tracking the entire journey the customer has made. The process I'm going to be analysing is the journey of buying a pint from a pub. So firstly, the process starts off by walking into the pub and up to the bar. Then you decide what beverage you want and order at the barman. After this, the bartender makes the drink and asks for payment. You hand over the money. He hands over the pint and gives you the change. At this point, you walk around the pub and find a seat and sit down. You drink your pint. You could start the process off again by buying another pint, or you could leave the pub. Design thinking is a 5-step process that allows you to map the start to the finish of buying a product or a service. The first step is empathize. Empathize is to understand the problem. It's the process of going out, conducting interviews, talking to the target market, and retrieving information. The second step is define. Analyze, interpret, and plan. Analyze what you have discovered in the empathize section and define the problem. Understand the people's needs from the interviews, interpreting the data you have collated. This gives you a better understanding of what your consumer seeks. Ideate. Imagine, research, and ponder. Come up with many ideas to help the problem or the consumer's needs. This is where creativity helps develop the idea into a more substantial idea. Prototype. Apply creativity to create. Make a product. This is the physical product which all the other steps have been helping to build up to the creation of. Test. Test the product you have made. Get feedback from your prototype using focus groups so your target market can test the physical attributes. This stage requires consumers to use the product and report back any issues they have encountered. All the points go into each other. So obviously from empathize to test, test to empathize, empathize to define, empathize is to help define the problem, as well as test to ideate. Test is to create the ideas for a new product. So if the focus group don't like the product, then you go back to ideate, where you rethink, you gather more ideas and to come up with the solution, as well as prototype to ideate. Learn from the prototype to spark new ideas. So this is a breakdown of each of the steps. So empathize is to get into the mind of the client, picture what is wanted/needed, conduct the interviews and general market intelligence, find out about your target market, find out what they need, gather as much information as possible, as this will make all the other steps easier. Define. Outline the information from the emphasis step. Define the customer's needs. During the define stage, you put together the information you have created and gathered during the emphasis stage. This is where you'll analyse your observations and synthesize them in order to define the core problems that you have encountered. Ideate. Produce many ideas. This step will be helped by creativity. Market research, mind maps, discussions, etc. During the third stage of the design thinking process, designers are ready to start the generation of ideas. You've grown to understand your users and their needs in the emphasis stage, and you've analysed and synthesised your observations in the define stage, and ended up with a human-centred problem statement. This is where you create a vision. Prototype. This is the process of beginning to construct a physical prototype, made out of styrofoam or cardboard, for the purpose of saving money and time. The design team will now produce a number of inexpensive, scaled-down versions of the product. This is so they can investigate the problem solutions generated in the previous stage. This turns the vision into reality. Test. Using focus groups to test the prototype and give feedback reviews on the design flaws and the advantages of the product. Improve the product by using the feedback. Designers or evaluators rigorously test the complete product using the best solutions identified during the prototyping stage. This usually is done in a focus group where the target market can scrutinise the product. The reason why creativity is so important today is that it makes you a better problem solver. By thinking out the box, mind mapping, brainstorming, having simple ideas, these are ways to be creative. The importance of creativity in business is that organisations today operate in a highly competitive global environment, making creativity absolutely crucial. Creativity is what fuels big ideas, challenges employees and ways of thinking, and opens the doors to new business opportunities. You can have great ideas but not be innovative. Here are some examples of excellent creativity in business. There is no limit to creativity, as long as it works. Personas. Creating a persona is an effective form of creating a customer's needs. This can be through customer demographics, choosing income, education, family lifestyle, personality, etc. By pinpointing exactly to whom you are offering the product or service, this means a deeper understanding into how one should begin advertising and building the perfect, most precise message. The main point of a persona is for a company to visualize who they are advertising at, making the process easier to provide detailed advertisements. Here are a group of people, each with different personas that companies target at. These are just the start to many touchpoints that companies can have on their consumers. Firstly, there is Henry, 25, hobbies like going out with mates, drinking and going to concerts. This persona is Casey, 28, likes reading books, staying up to date with current affairs. James, 30, loves sports, keeping healthy, going to the gym and eating well. Jess, 29, loves makeup, fashion conscious, likes watching reality TV. John, 62, likes classical music, subscribes to The Economist, well educated. Diane, 32, likes watching sitcoms, going to theatre and interested in art. And lastly, Ollie, 27, computer games, studies computer science, likes fiction and comics. So the point of this is all these personas are very, very different. However, by visualizing physically what they look like, how they act, how they dress like, what they like doing, this provides a better understanding for the company to target their information specifically at that person. This way you can get into the mind of the consumer, think what do they want, what would they like, and how can you best access them. What's your company's persona? All personas are different. There is no right or wrong persona. There can be many personas. Empathy mapping is empathy within business and a leadership role. It's the idea of caring for the needs of the employees on a humane level, creating a happy environment to drive success, rather than putting pressure on the employees and the act of understanding. So this encourages leaders to understand the root cause behind the poor performance. Being empathetic allows leaders to help struggling employees improve and excel. Empathy allows leaders to build and develop relationships with those who they lead.
So, what is an empathy map? This is what an empathy map looks like. A 6-section diagram with think and feel, hear, see, say, do, pain, and gain. It is a collaborative tool to help better understand their customers, helps team to build a better user experience and they can easily read and refer back to. It's a reminder of what the user is thinking and feeling. So here are some of the sections. Think and feel. What occupies their thinking? What aspirations do they have? What matters to them? Hear. What are their friends and family and other influencers saying to them to impact their behaviour? See. What things in their environment influence them? What competitors are they seeing? What are they seeing their friends do? Say and do. How has their behaviour changed? What do they do in the public? What is their attitude towards others? Pain. What fears, frustrations, or obstacles are they facing? Gain. What does success like? What are they hoping to get? So groups get together and fill out each of the sections, using their own personal knowledge or any data they have collated. It is good for general customer segmentation.
Storyboarding. This is more of a filmic approach. It is a way to visualise the sequence by including camera movements where people are moving, labelling the storyboard to project as much information as possible. It's a frame-by-frame walkthrough of what is happening within the sequence and including the relevant information such as mise-en-scène, cuts, camera movement, non-diegetic sound, diegetic sound, composition, how it should be edited, depth of field, focus, lighting, shot duration, etc. By using the symbols and diagrams, you can easily show the reader what is happening. The whole point of storyboarding is to show the information clearly and precisely. So this is less about the illustrations and more about the information conveyed. The reader should be directed through the sequence. There is no right way or wrong way of doing this.
A customer journey map is a process by laying out the steps a customer would take, along with a series of touchpoints and feeling a customer has towards purchasing a product or service. This map does 3 things: facilitate a common understanding between team members, identify gaps in the customer experience, and explore new opportunities. These are things you need to define your customer. Identify the primary persona, do your research, assemble a diverse skilled team, and prepare your workshop materials. The path to acquisition. This map shows the digital touchpoints a customer would make in the process of purchasing a product or a service. It starts at awareness, display ads, promotion, emails, billboards, radio, TV, to consideration, blogs, marketing, affiliate sites, to acquisition, e-commerce, online sign-ups, face-to-face marketing, service, apps, email, live chats, customer service, on-site appointment, user guide, to loyalty, email marketing, referral campaigns, blogs, upsell. These all link into one another and loyalty to acquisition. Thank you for listening.